What's going on, guys? It's been a hot minute. I think we're going on 3 months now since I posted anything. So today's video is on a little update of the LS3 Swap 350Z, I guess you'd say the Pro Spec car, and go over the things I changed and so on and so forth. So, but as it sits outside in pieces still, so I changed a lot since my last video went over like what I had on the LS swap stuff, and I'll go over why I changed up certain things. But all right, boom. First noticeable thing, obviously, being the individual throttle bodies. Give me a second here, let me prop this up. Okay, so completely different now. I added a set of race head design individual throttle bodies because I was watching some videos on YouTube that they did side by side dyno comparisons with this and then the Holley High Ram. And this one on their dyno yielded, I think it was like 40 wheel horsepower more. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to look it up and I'll add a little, actual number right here. But yeah, about 40 wheel horsepower more than the Holley High Ram. And as I said in my previous videos, this is just going to be naturally aspirated. I want to squeeze as much naturally aspirated horsepower out of this engine as possible. Obviously, ITBs, you can't get any better than that for NA. Other updates. I have a thorn in my shoe, apparently. Sorry about that. I added some 1000cc fuel injector clinic injectors for the E85 I'm going to run. Got the billet comp cams valve covers. Got my fast XR series coils. I got the whole dry belt assembly put together now, between LOJ and ICT. I was able to get this all set up. So this is just a factory 2-wire like GM truck alternator, like 160 amp one, and then we have the Nissan 350Z power steering pump, and obviously our dry sump down here. So I also ended up moving the motor mounts back to where CX Racing designed them, so it's pushed a little further back. After talking to a couple of guys who are a little more experienced with drifting than I am, they said that the further back the engine sits in the compartment, the better the car would handle, even with drifting. And I thought that would, if you have too close to a 50-50 weight balance, that maybe it'd be less than ideal. But even still, because of how gutted the car is, it's still going to have higher front weight rating because of the engine sitting right on the struts back here, and they're literally just being a radiator back there. So that's about all I changed for the end. No, it's not. So I actually had to eliminate the hard lines from the Motion Raceworks coolant crossover kit that I bought, and I'm doing just dash 4 stuff now because there's not enough room underneath here with all the brackets and vacuum hoses and all that stuff that you need to make the ITBs work properly. Got the rear radiator hoses mounted and ran. You can see them. They won't focus anyways, they're down there. Just gotta come from over here. There you go. You see them running over there by the motor mount and then down that way. These are all hooked up. They're all plumbed and everything. I just have to finish my coolant crossover system up there, and I'll be able to add fluid to it. Wiring's currently getting done. It's over at Hexa Motorsports in Santa Rosa. Something else too I wanted to point out. Strip bars, usually no-go when you run LS swap with a larger intake manifold with 350Zs. This one is made by APS, and as you can see, it fits. So it's kind of cool. I was a little bummed out not be able to run a strut bar, but I found this on Google actually. I'd never seen one like this before. I was actually looking for a Stillen one because they have the Stillen supercharger ones for the DEs. They come forward and go in front of the supercharger. I was thinking one of those would work pretty good, but I couldn't find one, and I found this one literally brand new. These are discontinued. Some guy had it in SoCal, so picked it up as soon as I saw it. Had it shipped out. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, yeah. I actually ended up dropping off the FDF kit and installing a, get the focus in there, WiseFab rack relocation kit. So, you can see over there, steering rack sits pretty far forward, and you have to use these rack offset spacers to get the tie rod pickup closer to the subframe, and so you have, you can get more steering angle. Now, check this out. It sits right there, so no worries of binding and or like kind of a weak point with the rack offset spacers. So, and less torsion on the rack itself. So this is a must do on 350Zs as far as angle kits is concerned when you start getting like high angle, because the seals will go bad on the racks, and nothing's worse than breaking a tie rod mid drift, in my opinion. So that's covers that little. Oh yeah, and then I got one section of the exhaust bolted up to the header here. I have the other one over in my storage shed because the passenger side one, I have to take the starter off over there to be able to plug in the freaking crankshaft sensor. So that's kind of a stupid ass design, but that's why that's not on yet. Let's see, what else? And that's pretty much it as far as what I've changed up. Oh, also the drive shaft that I have not in there now, because like my last video I went over like how I was able to use stock tripod and stock drive shaft, stock automatic drive shaft. Well, actually, this was still able to be done with a factory Nissan drive shaft, and that is a 370Z 6-speed drive shaft. So I have a carbon fiber OEM Nissan drive shaft that I can find at any junkyard, and it was, what did I spend, 80 bucks on drive shaft at a junkyard. So that's cool. I did have to shorten the shifter though, so I actually had a shortened, oh shoot, so I grabbed my camera all funny. I had a shortened tripod, OEM tripod, off of a VQ Swap 240 that I already had, so I just threw that on there. Where my next idea is coming from though is like I have a chassis mount, IRP chassis mount shifter in one of my other 350Zs, and it just has the shifter assembly coming down, right, and it attaches to the factory linkage. I have a shortened factory linkage, so I'm kind of tempted to pull it off my other car and remove my stock shifter assembly on this one, the shortened one, and see if the chassis mount shifter would work, because if it would, then that also eliminates the need for the shifter relocation kit. You can just get a nice billet chassis mount short shifter. So that's something I'm going to try and figure out here in the next month or so. But that's pretty much it. Oh no, it's not. I forgot. Little oops. So these coil brackets do kind of mount the coil packs up a little higher. Usually, like the LS ones are like mounted right, right center of the valve cover, and you can see this is bolted down here, and that was in order to get the spark plug wires to reach, because when they're mounted like that, they don't quite reach. Like this, the bottom part doesn't really click on all the way. So that's a no bueno. We don't want that. So I'm going to either A, hit up Texas Speed and see if they have a longer spark plug wire, or B, I'm just going to have to rig up something to get the coil packs to sit a little further down. But that pretty much covers a little bit of a update on the Z. I'm hoping to have it running in the next month. The plan is, once I get the wiring back to, obviously this is super temporary, this is just some line I had put together with like a 45 and like a 120 degree fitting, so it's going to be just 290s and straight, shorten this piece of hose up, and then we're going to deadhead it here, and then I have my feed line hooked up right here. So I'm actually doing away with my whole return system that I had installed on prior. when I'm going to be switching to a radium drop-in surge tank. So buddy George over at Hexa kind of, you know, showed me what they were, and I looked into it, and it's, you know, allows you to run dual pumps in the surge tank, and you use the factory fuel pump assembly with a, I think it's a 340 liter per hour pump to replace the stock one, which then feeds the surge tank, which then feeds the 2 pumps, and is well more than, you know, capable of supporting my power goals. And it's all in the OEM tank, and I don't have to upgrade anything. I already have the Dash 6 return line that was PTFE, so I can literally just swap that over to the feed line from the radium fuel setup, which, though, the radium fuel setup is actually designed to work with your stock fuel feed location, but I'd rather just do away with the hard line and then run my Dash 6 on that side, because I have so much going on over here between the dry sump and the radiator hoses. It'd be nice to eliminate one hose from the side and put it over here. So, alright, this was really kind of a one-shot video on an update with the motor and the LS in here. You know, so forgive the scatterbrainedness throughout a little bit, but I'm going to post another update video hopefully within a couple weeks with more done to this. I have a K&N Sprint Car air filter. You can see I have like the little rubber gaskets here that I have to cut the holes in the little base plate in order to mount that on. So I'm going to do all that and finish a few things and finish up my oil feed lines for the billet valve covers for the valve spring oiling and all that other stuff, and then we'll show you what it looks like complete. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed the little crash video, and as always, stay tuned for more on DK's Garage.